It's 34 minutes after 6. Hello there. If you've just joined us, well, the guys have done their thing. It's an all-women affair. No, just kidding. It is the consolidated for with the newspapers. So thank you for joining us, and hello to ya.
Hi, this was what you were telling
Mama
us
B.
about
Yeah.
Mama B, why don't you stand up and give us a twirl?
Wait.
I want to
Let's
see.
allow y'all to adjust this cameras towards the end, so I can do exactly that. I can model for you, man. You want me to model?
Right now, when he gets up, I think he'll be out of views. Or
Oh, what a
Yeah.
The
pity.
viewfinder will just be.
I wanted you to strut your stuff small because, Charlie, today you
I
are
will.
popping.
I feel like a slay queen, you know?
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
This is
From
beautiful.
news queen to slave queen.
This is beautiful. So this one is enjoyable.
The fabric, of course, is Woodine, and the designer is Ajoyabua Clothing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
She
beautiful.
picked a great
Thank you.
woodin fabric for this
For the-
particular
yeah.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like.
Wow.
Yeah.
And my hair,
It's by.
Cookies Parlor.
Oh.
Wow.
Charlie, today I decided
Today
to
you
just
decided
rock
to
it.
go full.
Yeah.
Oh, repo.
They have
Oh,
a
repo.
spa there too. Did you go for some massaging too?
No, I didn't.
You didn't
It was
do
this-
it.
What,
yeah.
How do you know this?
Yeah, because I took a friend there.
Hey.
What a good
What
friend
men
you are.
do when they themselves need a massage?
No, I don't need the massage.
What a good
I'm
friend
too
you
skinny
are.
to have a massage.
That is inconceivable.
I was advised by somebody who massages that when you're bony like myself and you don't do much of massaging. Yeah.
The person just
Really?
didn't want to touch you.
Oh. This
Kofi,
one, they say like
you're
a woman's
good?
Yeah,
everything.
I'm great. I'm great.
Yeah. Somebody says he stays really, really quiet and he just looks at the two of you when you're doing your thing. Yeah.
We need to.
He's like
know
a judge. You're turning.
We need to know the.
I think you've been
the people-
visiting the court too often.
We need to know the
tell
people
the
who have
person.
been telling you things. Because yesterday too, you said somebody. We need to know those people.
Mama B, when she wants to tell us something, then she puts it in the voice of some viewer.
No, really.
Then it becomes passive. Somebody says.
Okay, guys.
Kweku in Konongo says you should give me 500 cedis.
Okay, I'll read a text towards the end of the show.
Right, I know.
Let's do the newspapers, guys. Let's run through what's making headlines in all the newspapers. I think we'll begin with the
So
Ghanaian
Daily
Times.
Dispatch. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
Daily Dispatch.
Yeah.
All right.
So I thought sorry.
Yeah, well, let's mix it up.
Yeah. Okay, so we start with the Daily Dispatch. Great code debts could trigger doomsaw IES. Okay, and you have an accompanying picture of a child learning. This picture was in vogue. It was very prominent, especially during the doomsaw days. They still come back to us
Learning
anytime we
with
talk.
Bobo. That's Bobo.
I know. You ever used it?
No.
Right. No, I'm not surprised. Ken Oforiatta queries KK Sapong over GMPC's $9 million loss. And interestingly, the statement says GMPC saves Ghana over $20 million, no loss of $9 million from oil pricing. Dr. KK Sapong there. And President backs BOG. Takeovers are to sanitize banking industry. And then we look at the last paper. The Herald newspaper says Peter Amewu's National Cathedral mess uncovered. Courts running BOG nets GRA into multi-million-dollar trouble. Oh, by the way, the land that will be building the cathedral is valued at $40 million US.
I think that's undervalued.
Okay, it's
40
even
million?
Yeah.
So the land we'll be building the National Cathedral on is
know how much
undervalued at 40. Is there something like that?
I mean, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I haven't independently valued the
because
land.
you know the court rate that is suing Dr. Dufour and his son and a couple of others. You look at some of the properties on the attached documents.
But that
and the
document
value-
was disputed. Let's be fair to them. They've disputed the validity of that document.
Well, I'm talking about the court rate.
the values
Oh,
attached.
yeah. I'm talking about the values. Yeah. So, and you look at some of the properties and where they are and the value. Charlie, some of them in billions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in old
great.
cities, billions.
I think I saw $1.9 billion.
Oh, for property.
For Ghana.
No,
It depends.
it's not possible.
Vast land.
Billions a day.
All right.
Anyway, let's see what the final values come out at, because they will have to. That will all have to be part of. In fact, that should be information that is already available. We should know.
It's part of the rate.
Okay, and if they are telling us it's 40 million, I'm curious. One plot of land alone in that part of Accra, you are looking at close to $1 million. Are they trying to tell us that's just 40 plots? Look at the stretch. Look at, yeah, it's a lot of land.
It even depends on where the property is. You could have just a normal acre for 2 million.
Yes, yes.
I know somebody who bought for 2 million.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue with what's making headlines. I have the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page of the graphic, CTN exposes rots at ports, $14.04 million lost in July. The story is on page 3. Comes with a picture of Isaac Krenzel. He's a commissioner of customs. AGI Scholarship Secretariat to create Labour Bank, that's in quotes. Teachers give nod to licensure exam. Back page of the paper, water treatment plants at Bunso shut down over activities of illegal miners. ECG commissions substation for Tema Port Enclave. So this is what is on the front page. And with the commissioner of customs, and then the back page of the paper. That water that has been contaminated. Okay, so that's it for the graphic, and then I'll continue with the Finder. Front page of the Finder, local banks to become stronger after BOG's cleanup of financial sector, according to President. PPA saves states 795 million Ghana cedis in 7 months. 2 billion Sino Hydro bauxite for barter deal explained, and I still can't get Sino. Banks lose 30.1 million Ghana cedis to fraud in 2017, and Ghana's bauxite barter deal and the $billion confusion. So at one point there's a headline that says it's been explained. The other side is telling you about the confusion.
And that opinion by Bright Simmons, when you read it, is very interesting.
The confusion bits?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a long piece, but very interesting.
Okay. Does it confuse you in the end?
No, not in any way. Just brings up a lot of things about theories and all.
Let's do the Ghanaian Observer now. The front page says Akufo-Addo gets Chinese IT giant Ensper Group to establish West African headquarters in Ghana.
Okay, we hang on. So we have Sino Hydro.
The Sino Track.
The Sino Track.
Yes,
Then we have what?
Ensper Group. Yeah.
All
And
right.
they're also, is that the same as, no, that's not the company that owns Alibaba, is it? Because Alibaba...
No, Alibaba is also, he also wants them to come as well.
Yes, the president is trying to get Alibaba to have their African headquarters.
Really?
Here
I think when the president returns, they can have some like post-Chinese briefing. I mean, it appears we are
that
getting
won't be bad, because right now...
Are they MOUs?
It's
Because it will not be the
A lot
first
of them
time.
are MOUs.
Yeah, because MOUs usually are not binding.
The CMB loan that they didn't
That's an
come, we are
intention.
told that is one of the monies they are actually pursuing. Technical advisor at the office of the vice president confirmed that yesterday. So some other headlines here. NDC is rabble-rousing over 2 billion Sino Hydro deal. That is according to Pius Hajide, a deputy information minister. An NDC flag bearership race. Alabi raises Regan alarm. Ghana receives $190 million after meeting MCC milestone. Also on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer. The back page has some sports stories. No injury worries for Ghana ahead of Kenya clash. Ghana is actually playing tomorrow, just in case you didn't know.
I don't know who's looking forward to that. It's the African qualifiers, right?
Yes.
You don't know who is looking forward.
We can do the weekend today. The weekend today here says man 40 slash wife at Ablekuma Block Factory.
That's
Muslim
where you
group,
live, eh?
No.
For security reasons.
I don't disclose my location for security reasons. You should know that. But it's not.
Is there a gold vault in your house?
He's a very important personality.
Yes, he's
Just
a person of interest.
Yes.
When we declare
In
place
several ongoing
when we
investigations.
declare place as a
curious.
security zone, it always doesn't mean that there's a vault there or money there. It's just a security zone. That's what it is.
Yes, he himself is a
Muslim-
national treasure that we
Muslim
guard
groups-
jealously.
We need to bring Nicolas Cage
Let
to
me
be
let me
around
finish
here.
weekend today, please. Muslim groups urge government to continue handling Hajj operations, and Mercy Johnson's birthday photos also been reported by the weekend today. So that is it.
All right, I have the Ghanaian Times and the Daily Guide. Let's start with the Ghanaian Times, and we have fight against public procurement infractions. 8 government agencies hot. PPA hauls them before IOCO to face prosecution. I'll tell you which 8 later. But also, Ghana set to receive $190 million from MCC. That is for achieving some of our goals. And then 4 alleged Kumasi robbers buried. you know the story. 4 people killed, alleged robbers. And of course, because of investigation, it took a while for their bodies to be released, and now they've been buried. Also, let's support Bank of Ghana to sanitize banking sector. That's what the president has been saying in Rwanda. We'll take a quick look at the back page. GHS to introduce drone services, and this is for the delivery of drugs and other medical equipment to hospitals and medical posts. Also, GNPC Acre Energy awards scholarships to 150 lucky students. Right, we've got the daily guide as well. And here's the banner headline: NDC hopes dashed over $2 billion Chinese deal. I think you should read the paper yourself to determine whether indeed NDC's hopes have been dashed, or whether this is somebody's interpretation of a response from the IMF. Also, 3 drowned in Bagra Dam floods, 93 branches of Consolidated Bank to go, and PPA probes Auditor General over 7.6 million Ghana cedi cars. That's an ongoing story, and all the details are here in the daily guide. So,
all right,
shall we dive?
Yeah.
All right.
This story on the front page of the Daily Graphic, the CTN, that's the cargo tracking, that system that was fought heavily, and it's been postponed as in full implementation. Well, there's some revelations on page 3. The Daily Graphic speaking to the Commissioner of Customs, and he says that Ghana lost $14.04 million in revenue in July 2018. The piloting of the cargo tracking notes has made this revelation. The losses were attributed to trade malpractices that were orchestrated by government agencies and big firms during the clearing of goods at the country's ports. And the story says massive undervaluation and overvaluation of imports by big private institutional importers and state agencies which import goods on behalf of governments are reported to have occasioned the losses. And interesting revelations in the paper with this particular story, but you know, the full implementation has been blocked, so I don't know what this would mean to the September figures, for instance, or the August figures. So there's more in the story. I guess it's given reasons why we need the CTN to fully operate, but we know that if not a week or 2 ago, we had, for instance, GUTA, the Ship Owners and Agents Association of Ghana, all protesting, and there was a bigger strike by quite a number of them that prompted the postponement of the implementation.
But they actually threatened at a point to close their shops.
Yeah.
And we are told they had a meeting with the president, and afterwards they got him to agree that they need to engage them.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing is obvious. We need the revenue from the ports. But if government wants to do something of this sort in terms of do proper tracking or monitoring in such a way that it will improve revenue, then government also needs to do some proper engagement with the various publics that are concerned. I think what government has failed in the last 18 months or perhaps even the last 20 months is do the needed engagement or the communication with the various publics so that its intended policies or perhaps strategies to increase revenue will go down well with those people who have been concerned. And we've seen that in the past. For example, when we had the GRA wanting to put specific stamps on products from the assembling plants or the lines of the beverage companies, it resulted in a revolt. We had a 3% VAT component on imports that also resulted in a certain revolt. If not because parents need education, people would have revolted as far as the implementation of the double track system is concerned.
Well, there was resistance, wasn't there?
Yeah, there is really. And government doesn't do the proper engagement. But government, meanwhile, has a Ministry of Communication, has a bureau at the presidency in charge of information, has a ministry that is in charge of information. But that engagement is not done. Government doesn't engage the media.
How
so
about
that we do
the government institutions? So, for instance, GRA, direct institutions instead of government communication machine.
Well, even at the GRA, there is a public relations officer who, in theory, is supposed to be liaising with the larger information and communication machinery of government so that all communication is synchronized. So, and let's be, if you compare the previous government to the current government, when it comes to uniformity of message, I think the previous government did better at that than the current one. Not that what they were saying was right or true, but it was uniform.
They were consistent.
Yes, there was consistency in what they were saying. This government doesn't fare so well in that area. Everybody seems to think, I know what I'm doing. I know, I can do it myself. And they end up not doing enough. Yesterday we were talking about the fact that people don't still don't understand fast track, and it's about to happen. From Monday, it's on, and people don't get it. As a government, if you're about to roll out a massive change, and the people who are affected don't understand, you need to embrace that you failed in communicating it.
I wouldn't want to lump it up and include a double track. I want to look at the policies that are supposed to change the revenue.
You understand the double track?
I have a fair understanding of it, but I don't want to talk about double track. I'm looking at the revenue issues because you get a sense also that they are the people who this is supposed to check. They don't like the idea from the start.
That's true.
Because we saw it with the paperless system. Lots of engagement. It came out, yet the guys were still unhappy about it. In fact, they resisted. They complained about high
Did they do
prices.
lots of engagement, or they did some engagement?
They did some engagement, but the point I'm making is that you get a sense when you listen to these individuals that this is something that is supposed to check to make sure that what is going in is accurate, what is coming out is accurate. Yet there are people who clearly seem to be benefiting from some of these things and they are against it. Like we saw in the paperless system.
You're
so
right.
I agree that the engagement may not be entirely good, but in some of the instances we are looking at too, you have people genuinely being against what we are going to do to ensure that we get the revenue that we need to get.
Okay, so this is one of the things that
That's why we can't be like China.
gathered. So there's a certain company sitting in the middle of these guys and the revenue collectors, customs, GRA. And there's some suspicion of the composition of that company that is doing the job. So sometimes the resistance is because the people have discovered that those who form the company, they are people who want to chop.
So which company is this?
I don't have a name.
You see, that's another part of the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Because those who are raising that objection, if they really think there is wrongdoing, they need to be open.
Especially when
there
those
is
individuals
exactly.
have been accused of themselves benefiting from the lapses in the system.
So if there is some company that has been formed and they think that that company is supposed to aid chop, tell us which company it is. So we can look into this. That's the point.
I think it's a whole chain, yeah? So you are making the accusation, but you're also benefiting from something. You go and you purchase something in euros, and then you come back and say it's in dollars, so that what you're paying is less. And I am also doing something which is wrong. You can't say mine, I can't say yours.
But clearly, there seems to be a lack of trust. And the lack of trust, based on what we've all itemized here, is because there's a suspicion on one side and there's another suspicion on the other side. That is why dialogue is important.
It's important.
Now, the dialogue, if it's shortened, as in the time frame, breeds some of these results or outputs that we're seeing currently. But proper engagement, and all of us are communication people. We may not necessarily be the best experts or something, but our own experiences have shown that when you engage people, they get to understand you coming from a certain point. Now, within that engagement, you also come to certain compromises. So if somebody is doing chop and feels that my avenue for chop is ongoing, you can reach some compromises. I think that is where we should go.
Yeah, but one thing we can agree on is that, as Akable is saying, in the case of CTN, the importers and exporters have not said they don't understand it. They just don't like it. That much is clear.
Yeah.
Okay then. So I've got one here in the Ghanaian Times. 8 government agencies hot. PPA hauls them. 8 of them. Yeah. PPA hauls them before IOCO to face prosecution. Now, 8 government agencies have been hauled before IOCO for procurement infractions. Let me tell you which 8. Ministry of Education, Ministry of Energy, GNPC, University of Education Winneba, Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, Northern Electricity Development Company, NEDCO, and Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. But there are 2 more, Tema Oil Refinery, and then the Controller and Accountant General's Department. Okay, now Mr. Ajanim Boating J, who is the CEO of PPA, was talking about this at a meeting with some senior journalists. Any of you there at this meeting?
Fojo was there. There's a picture in the Daily Graphic Center spread that's captured our colleague Kwejo Fojo of Atop FM.
Are we
In the
senior
handshake.
journalists? Maybe we're
So
not.
he's
we
a
are,
senior,
we are, we
he's
are,
a senior
we are not.
journalist.
We're not.
Yeah.
We are not senior.
No, I
journalists.
said he
So
is.
this question.
The only challenge is that story, is it the one about some savings made?
Yes, the same one that.
No, but
oh,
no,
so
this
that's a
angle is
different
different.
angle.
Yeah, but this angle is problematic. The bit about
No,
savings.
I think that we've always found all this problematic. The thing is, the question we keep asking is, on what benchmark?
Yes.
You need to have A and say that I made a savings as I got to B.
This is just procurement, people going
yeah.
through process. How do you calculate and say
so,
that?
So
you've saved big savings?
until a project that has quantities or value, at the end of the day is implemented, and you look at the process of implementation vis-a-vis what expenditure has been and what has been at the end of the day, compared to what it should have been.
You can't go celebrate and say you saved. Okay.
So you
But
could have said that maybe a similar project was quantified at this point and at this amount, but another one. But then questions will be asked: are they the same? There are a lot of factors that affect projects and activities.
But let's listen to this angle.
Anyway, yeah, so what they are saying here is that we made record savings on public expenditure to the tune of about 800,000 Ghana cedis for the year 2017 due to innovative measures introduced in consideration of application for single source and restrictive tendering for procurement entities, with savings made for the first half of 2018 amounting to 795,000.
On what?
Yeah, so basically they are saying that because
by cutting down on restrictive tender
Yes.
and sole sourcing, that's what they are actually
they saved this much. But I don't know how you do the calculation, like Roland said.
It's
how do you know how much it would have been if they had gone for restrictive tendering? How do you know? They didn't go for restricted tendering. So how do you know how much you are saving? It's difficult.
And how can you even assess that your current way of giving the contracts out is better than the so-called sole sourcing or restricted tendering contract?
I think the PPA should avoid the savings bit and rather focus on.
I think they want to look good,
people.
but
no, it's fine to want to look good, but it sounds better to me when they're talking about people who have breached the laws and they are being prosecuted. I think
for me, however, I'm interested in detail. This thing where people come along and say, "Oh, we've saved this much over the past 6 months. Let's move on." I want to know detail. When you say, "Oh, we've reported these organizations to IOCO," I want to know detail.
Yeah.
What did each organization do?
Someone told us about savings. It was Ameri. We were told that the new agreement was to save us so much.
Exactly, and it turned out when we looked at the detail,
it was supposed to be 400 million.
400 million. That's
exactly.
But apparently,
when we looked at the detail, it was more expensive.
1.2.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I want the
They
detail.
haven't been talking about that much, have they?
The minister
We
says
don't
they
know
are
way
still
forward,
engaging. I spoke to him on, I think, Wednesday.
Ameri?
Yes, Ameri, the energy minister, the new energy minister.
Okay.
So they are still engaging.
I think that once they change the energy minister, everything has gone quiet. But we'll ask some questions and see. And talking about Ameri, this interesting. Of course, JoyNews, we broke the story. A policy think tank, Institute of Energy Security, is warning of an impending erratic power supply, and it's not something we're not used to. We have the government of Ghana, government institutions owing companies, and before we even go there, the banking crisis. You go and look at the NPLs and you look at the BDCs and all that. They get letters of credit, all being sanctioned by the Ministry of Energy because we need the petroleum. But on the account or the statement of the banks, government of Ghana is owing the bank so much. Now you come to Great Co also. The government of Ghana, because ECG is owing, needs to, as the majority shareholder or the sole shareholder, needs to make sure that it pays up so that the ECG can give GridCo the money so that we can keep power running on the transmitters. And it's a huge problem.
Let me tell you something interesting. Ameri actually owes GridCo too. There is Valco, there is also Asogli, and quite a number of other.
We have great consolidated mines.
Yes, there are quite a number of other companies.
But it's all for good reason. If ECG was paying those companies, fine. Because ECG needs to pay GridCo to pay those companies.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
they are generating.
And
then the off-taker is GridCo.
The issue is that state institutions must talk. when they're being
Oh, how
suffocated.
can you
I think they've been
You know, because
it's
they
like
stay and then the thing will pile up and then they'll come and scare us as if it's the ordinary citizens, like we're not doing our bits. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
They
Because
come and
people are
say,
paying their
oh,
bills
they
already.
as if they don't pay, then doom so, you know, like they're threatening you. Meanwhile, that it's not your fault.
yeah.
You know, it's your failure. Don't come and put it on me.
But some $190 million is coming. We are told we've met our targets.
I
the
beg you,
compact,
there are
not
a
the
lot of-
MCC, this whole ECG.
Have we finished?
This is coming from where?
Yes, that's the final part. It's coming from, okay, so the MCC, the MEDA team actually met the vice president yesterday. They presented a letter to him communicating that we have been able to meet all that was expected of us. And because of that, the remaining of the funds, and that is $190 million is coming in. I don't know why Kojo is not excited about it.
Oh, I am. I have a big smile on my face. $190 million of money from the Americans. For what? I don't know. But
Well, you think they will come and sit down and allow government agencies to owe them?
Okay, so
Well-
there's a quote here.
you see, I can't wait for these concessions to begin.
Okay.
For us to see exactly how
Yeah.
private people will run our electricity.
Differently.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
so
I
the
can't wait.
MEDA board chairman.
Well,
when he
we've
met
had an
the
experiment
vice-
with Aquavitans run on Ghana Water.
Oh my
Company.
God.
Where did it end there?
It was a disaster. It was a disaster of magnitude. What do you say? Magnitude proportions.
So the MEDA chairman actually told the vice president that today marks a significant milestone in the implementation of the Power Compact program. With these funds, MEDA together with its implementing entities will be able to carry out the planned investment and reform activities
He was saying this.
aimed at
Was it a
strengthening
speech?
our country's power
Do we have
distribution sector.
a master
there's actually
speech
a-
writer
there's
for all
actually
these
a-
institutions? Do we have a master speech writer for all these institutions?
Well, it sounds like you had it.
A significant milestone in the pipeline, you know,
Reforms.
far advanced,
Modalities are
going
in place.
forward.
Modalities are in place. Yeah.
I think we have a master speech. Where's I see located?
Groundbreaking.
Are you sure his office is not around where we'll be having the
Let's go on myjoyonline.com, guys. You sound like you guys want
National
somebody
Cathedral.
to come to
This
you.
is Kojo
to
and I's
draft
baby.
We are
their-
lobbying.
I am
lobbying.
Kojo's baby, National Cathedral.
Oh.
Why should we destroy properties on undervalued $40 million land?
Our baby, pa. This
I
is
think
an
the problem
unwanted
is
child.
you guys talk too much. We need a national cathedral. Case
We don't
closed.
need a national cathedral.
We do.
If
Whether-
the government
whether
can
you
pull-
like it or yes,
if the
it's
government,
coming.
and
Move
I'm
on.
not talking about an NPP government.
Move
I'm talking
on.
about the
Let's
government
do
of Ghana. Can pull
myjoyonline.com.
resources from churches to build a national cathedral.
Move on, Roland.
I think the government could have pulled resources so that we build. Is it the schools we need for the double track? So that in turn would have paid them
Kojo
amortized
gave
over
up a long
period.
time ago. Please do. Let's move on.
He has pastor friends.
Do you know how much money the Methodist Church owes?
I said that I thought you two just
Okay.
gave up. Okay.
And you want-
Sensitize banking sector, but proceed cautiously. NDC flag bearer aspirant tells Bank of Ghana.
Sanitize, you know.
When did he join the race?
What did I say?
He says sensitize. Okay,
Oh.
so GNPC fights back after Finance Minister queries $34 million crude oil loss. So I'm hearing $9 million loss. Now I'm hearing 34 million. Hey. And this one, Ghana's health sector review shows stagnating performance.
Oh, please. The state is already in a stagnated state.
Really? It's stagnating, it's not declining?
It is stable.
Kojo.
Okay. One strong local bank, better than 7 weak ones. And that's what the president said in Rwanda. Photo of the week, Finance Minister finally wears a suit. Ken Foriata has been wearing Ghana for a very long time. And now he turns up in a suit. But you know, Ghanaians, we are interested in interesting things. Okay, Finance Committee urges Bank of Ghana to pay former bank staff severance packages. And finally, Chinese manager stabs Ghanaian teenage staff. I don't know if you saw this yesterday. A serious story here. But I'm not seeing as much noise as we saw when the Mawako pepper incident happened. This is a
I
stabbing
guess
wound.
it's also because it's early, you know, and we're now getting to understand the facts.
No, Mama,
in
the
the
outrage
matter.
on Mawako was instant. It was instant.
Because I think it was shared on social media a lot more.
Was this captured? Was
well,
this captured on
I guess-
video? And I guess also the closeness. Of,
Mawako wasn't
where's
captured on video either.
Yeah, but Mawako is
but-
patronized by a lot of people
Yeah.
in Accra. And if
And
you
also
look at
because
the
it's-
segment of social media, I think the last time I looked at demographics before trying to put an ad on Facebook, for example, we had over
Let's have that
4 or 5
story up on
million
the
people
screen, okay, while we
active
discuss it.
each day on Facebook. So
Yeah,
Wow.
but you know, it
In
is
Accra.
quite serious though. Let's not downplay it. This is a stabbing of a 19-year-old boy who is at work by a foreign national. It's not a small issue. Now I want to read this very quickly, not the whole thing, because you can get details on Facebook. In fact, if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see that I've posted a link to this story. And the headline is... oh gosh, just a moment while I open it up. But this is something I saw yesterday. In the Ashanti region, the NADMO boss says, "My job is to use state resources to win votes for NPP." And I can read a quote from him. He says, "Imagine financial clearance comes right now for employment, and an NDC and an NPP person submit applications. I would deliberately tell the NDC man to come on a Thursday and rather interview the NPP man for the job on Monday." He also insisted that he will even support the Nation Builders call if it towed that same line to exclude any member of the NDC from getting recruited under the
would you
state
determine somebody
graduate
is a member
employment
of the
scheme.
NDC and NPP if they don't
well,
have a
please,
party
what's
card
He said,
showed in front
"I
of
will
you?"
even support it if the NABCO does the same. Another person can be given the job, but not an NDC member."
It sounds like the Ghana ambassador to South Africa, you remember?
Yes, some Ghanaians are more Ghanaian than
George,
others.
Yeah.
Is it George?
Yes,
So
Isikwasi.
what is this name?
His name is, let's get it for you.
It's a NADMO guy in the Ashanti.
Yeah,
You know,
he's
wait
a NADMO
till you
boss.
have a medical emergency. And then when they take you and you can't speak, then they can identify you as MPP or NDC too
Wow.
in order to give care.
Wow.
It's interesting. I think that doctors
So his
should
name
begin
is-
speaking like that.
His name
Do
is,
you get it? So that citizens can understand how it feels when you hear somebody
his name is
sound like
Pabna
that.
Nsenchire.
I'm hoping that this is not true.
Oh,
It
well,
is true.
it is true.
It is true, reported by credible media. So
You
it's-
know, these
it's
days
true.
it appears every show we have, I spend about 10 seconds speaking directly to the president. Mr. President, good morning.
He's in China,
Please,
big.
we are not, but he.
Oh, no, he's in Rwanda.
He's in Rwanda,
Yeah,
but
Rwanda now.
somebody is watching, so please pass this on to him. We beg you. We are not professional naysayers, but we are saying that this man that you have employed at NADMO in the Ashanti region,
Sack him.
sack him, okay? Okay.
We need
for
the
your own
Ghana
good.
Medical Association to
For
come
your
out
own
and
good,
speak
sack
like
the
that.
man, because
And
he's,
say,
there-
you
he's
know,
supposed to, you see,
I would-
Going
I would-
forward,
I would
we're going
say
to
to-
identify people
By
by
their
their
part.
political colors before
No,
we
their
teach
pro-
them
their
when they're
professionals.
sent to the
This
hospital.
is the worst part.
Can you
Okay,
imagine?
this is NADMO. He's supposed to be presiding over an organization that gives emergency relief to people in their time of need. But he says, no, that's not what I'm here for. My job is to use state resources to employ people from my party. That's my job. Okay? So either somebody has employed him and told him that's what he's supposed to do, and so he's doing it, or that is the mentality with which he has come, and you have given him a job. Is it that you don't know him? Well, now you do. So please, let's see what you do about it.
So
Let's see
sad.
what you do about it. If you do nothing, it is a clear message to the people of Ghana.
Isikwasi is in South Africa still.
Yes,
I think
yes,
we can-
he's
we can-
currently at post.
Well, so let's leave those who want to do those kind of politics. Let's talk about one of our colleagues who didn't do NPP NDC, but he did a good job for us. Erastus Asari-Donko, staying all through the night and reporting on this flood that swept away a vehicle, with 5 persons being killed and 1 person missing. So Erastus Asari-Donko, our colleague, we love a firm in Kumasi. We salute you this morning.
Erastus Asari Donko, because we think you're affiliated to a political party, we've retracted this compliment.
Stay with us, we'll bring you sports. We will talk Roverman later on in the show. Anklevo is staging his one-man play this weekend. And we will talk about the Finance Committee's interactions yesterday on AM Talk. So stay with us.